Hey, so usually I'm making silly, haha, I'll put the light down a bit, videos where I'm being silly, but today I'm making a slightly different video, and the reason I'm making this is because I spend a lot of time on YouTube watching story times, like scary Reddit stories, like psycho boyfriend stories, and I thought, like, I've got my own contribution to this, so I thought I would post a little story time telling you about it because I think you'll find it really interesting / terrifying. So first of all, the story is about my psycho ex-neighbour who I thought was a serial killer. So, as you can imagine, that was not fun. So, I need to set the scene for you. So rewind back, I had just turned 20 and me and my sister decided to move out. Like, basically we went and looked at the flat and we loved it. Like, it was so nice, it was furnished. The landlord person was really nice and we thought, I really want to live here. Like, it had mirrored wardrobes, like it had a massive double bed, like with an ensuite, there was like another bathroom, a modern kitchen, like everything that you would want to live in your first flat. Like, I was loving it because I felt like I was rich or something. So, what happened? So I moved in on Christmas Eve and I do remember this clearly because Debbie was not planning to move in for a few days because she had loads of shit. Then I think she went on a night out on like either Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve and got drunk and was like phoned me like whatever time in the morning like, oh, can I just come and stay at the flat, like I'd really like to stay in the flat, and then I'm sure she was like sick in the bathroom or something. So then she decided to just move in the next day as well. So I remember this, so I was so excited to have my own place, I was loving it, everything was great, I was loving life, nothing weird happened at that point. So the first kind of strange thing that we thought is a bit of a red flag, but we didn't look too much into it, was on Hogmanay. So I always have a party on Hogmanay and this was no different. I invited all of our friends round. We're not crazy wild, like we do have a laugh and a drink and stuff, but we're not like ripping stuff up or ruining everything and whatever. But I had a few people round and after the party, a few people stayed over. Like, I think my sister wasn't even in at this point, I'm sure she was at some other party, but my sister-in-law had slept, pardon me, in my sister's room, and during the night, the next day, she says to us, like, during the night, it was really strange because I'm sure she said the neighbour upstairs was playing really weird music, like on repeat all night, like he just kept stopping and starting it and rewinding it. And we did kind of think, oh, that's weird, but equally, because like the walls are fairly soundproof and the doors are fairly heavy, so like from my bedroom I could not hear anything, so it's not like I thought she was making it up, but I didn't hear anything, and it was kind of like that strange, like maybe he was just having a party, like we were, you know, no big deal, like whatever, but we did think it was weird from that first time, but never looked too much into it. Always look for red flags and go with your gut, by the way. So I didn't think anything strange happened after that. Maybe a good few months later I was in bed and it was like 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, I can't remember exactly what time it was, and Jack was staying over, so me and him were in my room and then my sister was in her room, and then we heard like the loudest banging you could ever hear in your whole entire life. Like, I'm a big fan of like serial killer documentaries, so the first thing that came into my head was, oh my god, it sounds like he's hammering somebody to death. That's literally what it sounded like. It was going through the whole flat. It wasn't just like one little bang and then done. It was like bang, 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 bang. Like, so loud that I was so convinced he was killing somebody, which is very dramatic, but that's the shit that goes through my head. And Jack, on the other hand, being a normal human being, thought he had a basketball and he was banging it through all the rooms. I was like, but why would someone do that at 4 in the morning? That's so weird, like why would you do that? And it was literally the loudest thing ever, but it did eventually stop after a few minutes and we were like, right, okay, well that's weird, but you know, I think at this point we probably should have phoned the police. But what I didn't know, and I found out later, was that the reason it did stop was because one of the other neighbours had phoned the police and had taken him away and arrested him. Because I remember we heard the banging and then we heard like dragging across the floor and then we heard him get into a car and drive away, and that's when, again, that's when I was like, that's it, he's definitely killed somebody. Like, I don't know why I wouldn't phone the police at this point, by the way, like, but I think I thought it was being dramatic, but it really did sound like that. So that was actually him making the noise. Somebody phoned the police, they came and arrested him, dragged him across the floor and took him out and into the car and drove him away. But again, that's why it stopped. But I thought he was dragging a body across the floor. A few weeks later, I think I spoke to the neighbour or spoke to the police. I can't remember how we found this out, but basically it turned out what he was doing is getting a chair and putting it in different rooms, standing on the chair and jumping on the floor, like, and he kept moving the chair and doing it through all the rooms. Like, I have absolutely no idea why this crazy man was doing that, like, but it was so scary. Like, I was 20, my sister was 22, obviously Jack was there, but like, you know, that's terrifying. So I don't think we understood why he was doing that. He was just like crazy. And by the way, it turned out later, I think he maybe had like a drinking problem. Like, I think that when the police went upstairs to arrest him, there was like drink bottles all around him and stuff, and he was absolutely wasted. We were terrified, basically. So because he'd like gone or whatever, and I guess we just thought it was fine and it stopped, we never really done anything, so I thought, okay, we'll just leave it. But I'm sure like the next day as well, we had it, so this is how the flats worked, because this is confusing, right? There was 4 floors. There was the bottom floor, there was the second floor, and there was like, just underneath us, there was like a really, really nice neighbour and his girlfriend. They were super nice, like, then there was us, and then there was the psycho neighbour. So there was 4 like flats there, and then like across the corridor in each side there was another flat. So directly opposite the psycho there was somebody in there, directly opposite us there was someone there, and then so on and so forth to the bottom. So there was 8 flats all together in like this little section. So I'm sure like we bumped into like the neighbour below us at one point, and he was like, oh my god, I was so worried about you, are you okay, like that's so scary. Like I think he basically thought something was happening to us, and I can't remember if it was this time or the next time, but one of the times he actually came up the stairs and knocked on the door to check we were okay, and we didn't answer obviously, but obviously then the police came and stuff. So we didn't hear him obviously because it was so loud. So obviously that was terrifying, and I had work the next day, and I was like so shaken up the next day at work. I was like, I don't even know if I want to live here anymore, like I don't know what's going on, like especially when I found out he was getting on a chair and jumping through the rooms. Like, who does that? Like, it's not like he was just, I don't know why you would do whatever you would do anyway, but that's another level. So fast forward to a few months on, and I was actually already scared to go home by myself at this flat, just because of everything. Like, it would make various noises and stuff, but nothing major had happened, but I was just wary of the situation, and I don't know, if I was like going to be in the flat by myself, I used to make Jack come and stay, or I would go and stay at his. So a few months on, it was 4 in the morning, I was sound asleep in my bed, Jack wasn't there, it was just me and then my sister in her room. So I woke up to like the loudest banging again you could ever imagine on the door though, like on our main door, and it was a massive thick fire door, thank the Lord, and it literally sounded like someone was trying to break in our room, like, or not our room, like our main flat. So it was like banging the door, and it was like bang 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 bang, and then someone was shouting bang bang. We were like, oh my god, like what is this? Like, it was, I looked at my phone, it was 4 in the morning. We had just been sound asleep, so I don't have a clue what was going on. We were so terrified that I was like, maybe we should look through the peephole, but then like, you know when you're like, you know that they can't see you, but it's so close that I was like, I can't, I'm so scared. So Debbie like snuck into my bedroom, and then she phoned the police. Like, I don't know why at this point you wouldn't phone 999, but I think we were like, no, we don't want to waste emergency police, we'll just phone the police station. I don't know why we done that, it's so stupid, don't do that. So we phoned the police station, and they actually said, like, look, we've actually just been over, and like about half an hour ago we'll come back, or they don't even think they'd got out and they came back. So we must have been asleep when he was doing other things and somebody else called the police, because I was not aware of this. So like, we heard like little knocking again on the door, and it was actually the police, so I was like, oh thank the Lord. So they came into our house and was chatting to us, and you know how obviously they'll take one person into one room and one person into the other, probably just to make sure that your stories match up and you're not talking total crap. And can I also add, my jammy top was inside out and back to front, and I had the most disgusting velour pink joggy bottoms on, just to like give you a visual of what we looked like. So trust me, I'd have like the bad cop, right, the serious one, and Debbie had the like young, nice, like chatty one. So she was like telling him the story, and then I was like, you know when you're like telling a story but you're so scared that you're almost just like nah. So I was like, oh my god, like I think he's killing somebody, like he's done this, he's done that, he's done that. Like that's not going to help Vicky like give a clear statement, but I was just like talking at him like because I was so scared. So whilst I was actually chatting to the police officer in the kitchen, he had his wee radio obviously on him, and an announcement came over on the radio being like, hey, like number Crofton Rye, I'm not going to say the number, has phoned to say that number 5 Crofton Rye, which is where we lived, is having a party. Like, you're taking the piss here, son. So the police was like, look, if they're having a party, then I'm at the party. We're in their flat right now, we're in their kitchen, they're definitely not having a party, they're in their jammies, they've clearly just woke up. Yeah, thanks, obviously I looked so bad. They're definitely not having a party, and I think that really done us a favour in showing that we're not the crazy ones. He is, like, although they probably already knew, to be honest with you. So after taking our statements, they went up the stairs, we could hear them go up the stairs, we heard them dragging him across the floor again and arresting him. So I was like, right, thank the Lord he's gone, but now I'm ready to move out and I have another 6 months in this flat of this lease. So I think I had work at like 8 AM or 9 AM that day, and even though I'd not slept, I went to work because I just wanted to get out of the flat. But Debbie was left alone in the flat in the morning, but he was away and he was in the cell, so it was fine. However, this is kind of a funny part of the story. So she was off that day and she was planning to go and visit my gran and granddad. So while she was kind of getting ready or lying in bed, she could hear somebody like going in and out of like, it's hard to explain, but to each like little capsule of flats, like so there's 2 flats, there was a fire door that took you out onto the stairs. So she kept hearing that fire door open and shut like loads of times, and like the letterbox going stuff. So she phoned my gran and granddad and was like, oh my god, like I think he's trying to scare me, like he's going in and out of the door like loads of times to freak me out, like I'm so scared I can't leave, I meant to come to your house but I'm too scared. So literally, bless my gran and granddad, who were like 60 or 65 at this time, we're like, don't worry, we'll come to your flat and help sort the situation out. What are they gonna do, like walk and stick him to death? Like poor gran and granddad, like they were so nice. But Debbie was like, no, I'll just phone the police station and like ask their advice. So she's phoning the police station like, oh my god, like I think he's trying to scare me by opening and closing the door. And the police officer was like, right Debbie, don't be scared, give me a minute, I'm just gonna check he's still in his cell. So like off he went to like check he was still in his cell, and he came back, he was like, it's definitely not him, he's still in his cell. So it turned out it was the postman delivering bloody letters, opening and closing the door. That was freaking her out. I was like, oh my god. So anyways, she must have went to my granddad's or whatever, but that night after my work, I came home and I actually bumped into the neighbour that lived opposite him because they were coming down the stairs. And this is the other thing, I'd never ever seen the psycho neighbour in my life. Like, I had an idea of what he looked like just because I think Debbie'd seen him once. Like, I could instantly tell that they weren't him basically, because it was like a woman and like her husband. And I says to her, oh my god, like, do you live upstairs? Like, what was all that last night? Like, that was so scary, we live below. And she was super nice, she was like, oh my god, like, we phoned the police on him. Basically what happened is, he must have been making some sort of noise, so she phoned the police on him, and they came and chatted to him even, and then he went absolutely crazy thinking it was us that phoned the police on him. So she said that when he was going absolutely crazy and like banging on her door and stuff, she was actually looking through the peephole in her flat, which was opposite him. So she's seen him come out of his flat, go absolutely crazy, like punching the walls in the hall and stuff, come down the stairs. Obviously she can't see what happened after that, but she's seen him run down the stairs, and that's when he went crazy and started banging on her flat door and stuff. Thank God the door was heavy, I can tell you that. So she also said that when the police came to arrest him after we spoke to him, she looked through the peephole and she could see him threatening to like slit the police's throat and be like doing, you know, that kind of action. And just basically resisting arrest and just being absolutely crazy. So she was like thinking he was a nutcase and all, like. So then he got arrested. I think it was then I spoke to our neighbour down down the stairs from us, and he was like, oh my god, like, I was so worried for you that I came up and knocked on your door to check you were okay, which is so nice of him. But we didn't obviously hear him, we didn't answer, so he probably thought we'd been murdered, so he probably phoned the police as well. I do not know. So after that I was like, I can't live like this anymore, like I'm too scared. Like I literally couldn't go home at night by myself because I was so scared of what would happen that I basically just avoided staying at the flat. Like I moved back into my mum's for a bit, like poor Debbie left her. I moved back into my mum's, I would stay at my friends, I would stay at Jack's house. I just didn't really want to be like alone in there, it was far too scary. The neighbour, when I spoke to her, described what he was wearing, and she was like, he had like, I know this doesn't mean anything because you can wear whatever and you're not like a serial killer, but the fact that what he was wearing and what he looked like really just reminded me that he looked like some imaginary serial killer in my head. So he had like a long black leather coat, like his hair was all scraped back, like an oiled back, he had long grey hair, like he was an older man. Like I don't know why I just pictured him as a serial killer, and then when she described him I was like, no, nope, I'm nopping my way out of there, I'm done. So obviously like I did stay occasionally still back at the flat with Jack because you know, you have a boyfriend, you want to like sleep over with them or whatever, like have a good time, like and like watch films and stuff. So occasionally if he was there we would go back to the flat, but I would be too scared like to be by myself. So eventually I got a new flat and I moved into my new house. I moved into a new house to take on stay in that flat with her friend who then moved in. So our friend is like not a scared person, she will just tell it how it is. Like if he was making noises she would just get the brush and like bang back to him and stuff, which I think is terrifying. So like she's so brave, like I wouldn't have done that. So fast forward to when Debbie lived there with her friend. She said weird things would happen to the point that like if she would, in the night if she flushed the toilet, he would then get up and start flushing his toilet, or he would start banging on the floor. Like it's like he was imagining things, like he thought that she was flushing the toilet to like annoy him and stuff. Like, it was so strange. And then one time like she got a letter through, a typed letter through her letterbox. I really wish I had a picture of this letter, but basically what it was saying, because I did see it, it was basically like, what was it saying? Like, you're banging all through the night, like, you're making all these noises, like, you're banging the door, you're flushing the toilet, like, just all this weird rambling. He thought she was, like, having parties in the night, or making noise during the night, or just doing all this weird stuff. Like, he thought that she was, it's like he was making up stuff in his head. I'm sure he said stuff about loud music as well. It's like he was making stuff up in his head and thought my sister was doing stuff, and then basically was threatening her through, like, you know, like a letter, but she just ignored it and stuff. But I forgot to tell you because I've missed out part of the story. Before I moved out, we actually got a letter through the door from the courts asking to go to court and give evidence against him. So I was absolutely crapping my pants, like I was like 20. I didn't want to go to court like and give evidence against someone who didn't even know who I looked like, bearing in mind, because Debbie seen him in the corridor and one time and he didn't know that like it was her. He was so polite to her during the day. He was like holding the door up and like, hiya, how are you? But you're like harassing me, but he never knew that was her. So I was like, okay, psycho. So I didn't want to go to court and him see me and like know who I was and anything, but it turned out anyway, he pleaded guilty and we didn't have to go to court, so that was fine. And it was in the paper and stuff actually. But I think basically after Debbie decided to move out and get another flat, the day that she was moving out, did he not move out? Like, he was literally getting all his stuff together, and I'm sure his mum was like helping him move, and she came and apologised to my sister for like all the crazy behaviour. And I thought, out of all the time you finally moved out and then he's moved out, like, are you winding me up? Anyway, I'm still alive obviously, so I didn't get serial killed, and I don't think he killed anybody because I'm pretty sure we'll know about it if he did. But I just wanted to tell you that story because it was so scary at the time. Like, it was so scary. So hopefully you found it interesting. It's a bit bitty, like, if you have any questions about it, or if you've got any scary stories, like, please tell me because I love hearing them. Like, as long as nobody was hurt, like, you know, I love hearing them. Anyway, thank you for watching. I know it's 20 minutes long. I probably need to edit this video down. Thank you very much, and I love you all.